Hi there, I am live, which you know if you're watching this right now. And today I got my Amazon Prime that I bought, Blu-ray set that I picked up. I also this weekend I went to a flea market, and I was kind of like I knew I kind of wanted to get something from Amazon Prime sale. So what I decided to do was I'd do my Amazon Prime and I do my Hey Tennessee Pops there, and I do my flea market haul together. So I'll start with the flea market haul and then I'll get to the Amazon Prime item that I'm super excited for. Just to let you guys know, it's right here. But we'll do the flea market stuff first, and just to let you know, I collect all types of media, so that's going to be helpful to know. But first, I grabbed a couple things that I don't normally grab, and I grabbed a couple books actually. And I won't spend too much time on those, but they are media related, so that's actually kind of cool. So I picked up, because I'm a big fan, a Murder, She Wrote, Close Up on Murder, which I think is Donald Bain. Yeah, Donald Bain, written with Jessica Fletcher. I'm a big fan of the show Murder, She Wrote. I'm also a big fan of I think it's called Pushing Up Rosie, the channel that actually, she does like a lot of Murder, She Wrote episodes. Anyway, I wish I could remember it now, the name channel. I think it's something like that. Hey, Jason, welcome. I got some flea market haul and I got Amazon Prime stuff too. So depending on what you're into, you might like this. But this is really neat. I did not know this existed. But this is Fangoria Vampires. So, hey, take Katana. So I had not heard of this, but what it basically is it's by Tony Timpone, and what he did is basically he took some articles and stuff from Fangoria, different vampire-related articles, and put them into this like pocketbook, which I think is actually really cool. I've never seen anything. I've seen like Fangoria do like the giant size specials and the magazines and stuff like that, but I've never actually seen a Fangoria book. So this is really different. There are some pictures on the inside too, which I'll show you here, because I think they're kind of fun. So it didn't ruin. Let's be honest. There was a lot of stuff going on with that magazine before. I don't consider him the ruination of the magazine. Tony, actually, for a large part, kept the magazine going for a long time and did like other things with it. I would not consider him the ruination of it. Just the opposite, actually, to be honest with you. In my opinion, anyway. So you got stuff here from like Lost Boys and, of course, Fright Night. There's Ben Cross from the Dark Shadows revival. And there we got Children of the Night, which was a Fangoria film. I have that one here on DVD. Of course, there's a classic right there with the Christopher Lee. But anyway, it's a really cool one. It's got a lot of different articles in here. Everything. Hey, Mug, welcome. Everything like from like Bram Stoker's Dracula to Stephen King's Salem's Lot, Brace of the Vampire, Nick Knight, Vampire Cop, which of course would become the series Forever Night. But the first, film that spawned the series Forever Night was actually Nick Knight, which starred actually Rick Springfield. Whereas in Forever Night, I guess a lot of people like, especially a lot of like YouTubers that actually get stuff like sent to them, like from Mill Creek and that. I wish I was one of those people. Actually got the complete series of Forever Night, which starred Jarrett Wynn Davis. It was a very popular Canadian actor, actually. This is a little. Just got these glasses not that long ago. Just seems smudged a bit. All right, so I got movies too here. So, and then we'll get into the Amazon Prime stuff. So first off, I grabbed some VHS because I still got a kind of a small VHS collection there. So I grabbed this one here, and the guy didn't have change because it was like he didn't look to be doing too well, and there was a guy over at the table where he was at, and he was kind of like, he wasn't saying the nicest thing about him, like having VHS on the table. The guy's being a bit of a dick, right? And there was no way I was going to let that pass. So I went over right in front of the guy to buy VHS off his table, because screw idiots like that. So he didn't have enough change to give me like for the thing, so I ended up buying 4. instead of like the two that I was going to buy, but it's okay. So I got Confidence with Edward Burns and Rachel Weisz, Andy Garcia, and it's a Dustin Hoffman. I don't remember this movie, so actually don't. I don't remember this film. Is it good? Does anybody remember Confidence? Looks to be in good condition, so I don't know. I'll check it out one of these days. I also grabbed, this is one of the ones yeah, good cast. I mean, it could be good. But I don't know it. I really don't. And if that's about like grifting, hey there, welcome. Yeah, it's mail day. And plus this here I'm showing right now, by the way, is like a flea market haul that I got on Sunday, but I just wanted to wait until I got my mail in as well. So I grabbed Prime Suspect 3 on VHS, Helen Mirren. I'm a really big fan of Helen Mirren and these here. So this is Video Treasures. Now, I remember Video Treasures from back in the day because they would be like usually be cheaper, but they'd have like a lot of really good stuff that they'd have a lot of the horror stuff in that as well. So it was kind of neat to see this. Like this is it's a 3-tape set, like part 1, part 2, and part 3. And I don't think I've got any 3-tape sets at all, so it was kind of neat to grab this one. Now, when we get into the Amazon Prime, what I got from there, that is going to be more of a deep dive. We're going to deep dive into that one. Next up was I had to pick up some cool action stuff, so I grabbed Chuck Norris, An Eye for an Eye. I don't think I got this one on Blu-ray yet. I'm not sure if it has. Does it have a Blu-ray? It seems like Kino or someone will put this out if they haven't. Well, then they should. But I actually trying to remember this one now. It's been a long time since I was in Eye for an Eye. But good old Christopher Lee's in this one. So if you like Hammer's Dracula, get Christopher Lee. And if you like blaxploitation, oh, there's the thing though, Dave Katana. You forget. I don't watch VHS on new TVs or Laserdiscs. Nope. I have 2 CRT TVs, 3 actually. One right there, that's downstairs for playing games and stuff like that. I got one upstairs with a PS2 attached to it, and I got a smaller 13-inch if I want to like kind of be on the go. Kino put out, yeah. But I want a good VHS collection, so I don't have much Chuck Norris in my collection at all. And last but not least is, and this one was put out on Blu-ray as well, but I wanted the VHS, this VHS one I remember like really well. And I love the fact that it's actually totally sealed up, and that is Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge is a movie that I really, really like. And if you haven't seen Jagged Edge, by the way, why not? I'm sorry. This is a really freaking good movie. Definitely go to your way to see this film. It is excellent. Jeff Bridges and Glenn Close. This one came out, I think, after Fatal Attraction. But fantastic film. Get to see Glenn Close on the other end of the thing. She's not the crazy one in this one. But I won't ruin it for you. You got to see it. It's cool. Basically, Glenn Close is a liar, and she is defending Jeff Bridges, and because he's accused of killing his wife, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Oh, killing somebody anyway. He's a San Francisco socialite. He's accused of killing somebody. She's there to get him off because she doesn't believe that he did it, and stuff happens. You guys are so quiet tonight, by the way. Amazon Prime Day. At first, I tweeted I didn't see much that I liked. Then I saw this. I got one more Amazon Prime thing coming, but it's not come till August because it's not going to be in stock till August. At least that's what he said. So hopefully it comes back in. All right. I'm going to unbox this. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at the features and stuff. Oh, yeah. Especially like on VHS and Laserdisc. I'll double dip a lot on stuff like that. Because I want like a kind of a little collection of movies. Like when I got Jagged Edge, when I grabbed this one, for instance, This is one I used to rent on VHS a lot when I was when it came out. So I guess in a way I kind of want to have eventually like a little like Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, Laserdisc type of like movie setup where I can actually just look at the different stuff that I watched over the years and watch in different formats that I've seen it in. More than likely, I always go for the Blu-ray first, but it's nice to have them around you too, you know. So I grabbed this Doctor Who, Tom Baker complete, I guess season 7 they say. So I guess series 14 of classic Doctor Who. This is the last one with Tom Baker. There's a ton of stuff on here, so we're going to look at that. I'm actually going to open it up. We're going to look at the discs and stuff. So we got here the Leisure Hive, Meglis, Full Circle, State of Decay, and Warrior's Gate. Those three are like the East Space Trilogy. That's where Adric is brought in, and Romana and Canine Leaf. Keeper of Traken, where we get to see Nyssa, and well, there's a special villain at the end. And Legopolis, which is the final Tom Baker story. There is actually an extra disc here, and it has Canine and Company, which was a pilot that was done. It actually had Sarah Jane Elizabeth Sladen in it. If you've never seen Canine Company, it's definitely worth checking out. I'll tell you that right now. So this is the inside. When I saw the picture on, they didn't have like the slipcover showing on Amazon, so I was kind of worried I wasn't going to get a slipcover with it. Like it's really the same picture, so it wouldn't really matter. That would have been okay. But it's nice, you know. So it's an extra bonus. It's a nice bonus. Hey there. Oh, welcome, dude. Smart move. Have no privacy. One thing I do refuse to do is to do that aging your face app type thing. Downloaded that thing, and the first thing it said was, "We would like permission for all your pictures on your phone." I'm like, no, and I deleted it. So it's here like this. I think it's 8 discs. It's 8 disc set, so it's 8 Blu-rays, and there is a thing on the inside here. So let's just see what's in it exactly. So there is a ton of stuff. Let me read all this. Okay, on all this, there's audio commentary, production information, subtitles, isolated music soundtrack, photo gallery, BBC One continuity announcements, PDF archival material. All right, discs at a time. Now, you have to understand that Doctor Who, hey there. Oh, it is worth it, man. Amazon Prime is fantastic. Man, this came really fast, and plus, I do watch Amazon Prime a lot. Good Omens, I recommend it. Doctor Who DVDs, when they initially came out, like didn't have a lot of features, but then the later releases had a ton of features on them. So these here with Blu-ray, you have even more stuff. So on the first disc, we got the Leisure Hive, which is 4 episodes. So we get like bonus features, again, 5.1 surround sound, making of documentary, from Avalon to Argolis, Behind the Sofa, which is a new thing that they do. I'm really interested in Beyond the Sofa. Studio footage, and when they say studio footage, on the DVDs, they used to have like kind of like a cut down, like a part of the footage would be like, you know, you get like 15 or 20 minutes type of thing, or sometimes 30 minutes of like behind the scenes like footage and stuff. But on the Blu-rays, no, the whole thing's there. I mean, like if there's like 2 hours of like behind the scenes footage, you get it all. You know, it's like being there, like being on the set and seeing them like film it. It's actually pretty cool, especially if you're a fan. Synthesized starfields, clean opening and closing titles, costume featurette, something from Blue Peter, which was a children's show, coming soon, and Meglis trailer. This too, Meglis. Again, 4 episodes. Meglis Men, Behind the Sofa, the Scene Sync story. There's a Jacqueline Hill tribute. She passed away around the time that this came out. Jacqueline Hill is one of the original actresses from Doctor Who. BBC News report announcing Tom Baker's departure. That's actually kind of cool. Coming soon, East Space Trilogy trailer. You got them, do you? See, I'm really excited about the Behind the Sofa things. I gotta open it up here so I can see the comments as they come in. And thank you for commenting, because it's been really quiet here tonight. So I appreciate that. So next up is like one of the ones I'm really excited about. I don't have the E-Space trilogy at all, and I don't have Megalith either. I think I've got like a DVD, the first DVD of Ledger High, which doesn't have much on it. So full circle. Again, we get a making of documentary behind the sofa. Again, excellent studio footage. K9 and E-Space. A Weekend with Waterhouse. That's new as well. Swap Shop. They did that on a few of them. BBC News Report. The new Doctor announced. I think it has. I mean, like I would say it all depends on when you get into it and what Doctor you're watching as well. Like what Doctor did you start watching and kind of what era as well. That makes a difference. Oh, yeah, they got really sexy packaging. I missed out on some of the Region 2 stuff, so I didn't think it was good to dive in kind of like and just kind of half get it and then be looking for it for real expensive. So I said, I can still find these, and I just want they have all the stories. The only difference is like there's on the first set I think there's a featurette on like British television in that time period. Peter Davison nationwide interview and science featurette. Disc 4, State of Decay. That's the horror one, by the way, guys. So if you like vampires, you want to see State of Decay. The guy from The Leftovers. What guy from The Leftovers? I'm kind of curious. I'll figure that out in a second, actually. State of Decay is a really good one. Written by Terrence Dix, who's one of the best writers for Doctor Who. Making of documentary, Behind the Sofa, film trims, the BBC News Report, Tom Baker and Layla Ward's wedding. Pickwick audiobook. Oh, nice. Leaves of Blood, which I think is like about like vampire, like books. The Blood Show, I think, which is about vampire films. And the Frailing reading. Uh, So that's disc 4. Disc 5 again is Warrior's Gate, which is a very underrated story, which is actually written by horror author Steve Gallagher. He's got a making of documentary, Behind the Sofa, extended and deleted scenes, Layla's wardrobe, the X-Man, another swap shop, and Prime Computers ads. That should be interesting. So really famous, really popular was the next one to keep her tracking, which is probably one of the most famous ones. Making of documentary, Behind the Sofa, Return of the Master. I'm a huge fan of the Master, and I will say this now. I really did like Anthony Anley's portrayal of the Master. A lot of people say it's like over the top and too pantomime, but I think he goes all in and he really enjoys it, and that really makes you enjoy it more when you're watching him on the screen. Sarah Sutton and Swap Shop, bonus excerpts from the commentary session. Logopolis. This is one I'm really excited about. That's the second person tell me about Behind the Sofa. I'm so excited about this. Eccleston. Oh, okay. This is the classic series. I think Eccleston is good. It was one of my favorites, actually. This Dalek was a really great episode with Eccleston. So you went into the new stuff. You didn't go back to the older stuff. If you like horror, Tom Baker's early, like his Hinchcliffe Holmes era, that's really good. If you like gothic horror, because they deal with that a lot. So I do recommend that if you like the Hammer stuff. Logopolis is kind of the ones I'm really excited about. It's got a new making of a documentary on Logopolis, which wasn't on the set that I got. We got like optional updated special effects for it. A New Body at Last. I love that documentary. I've watched it so many times. It's an hour-long documentary about the change from Tom Baker to Peter Davison. Behind the Sofa, studio footage, audio restoration, the Five Faces of Doctor Who trailer, Tomorrow's Times. I love Tomorrow's Times. Stripped for Action, yes. So Stripped for Action is basically every Doctor has a Horror Rock is fantastic. I'm glad you said that because Horror Rock doesn't get the kudos it deserves, and Warlock, that's one of my personal favorites as well. I love and it's such a dark one. Like no, it's like unlike when Chris Eccleston says today, just for today, nobody dies. That doesn't work in Horror Rock. Strip for Action basically is the Fourth Doctor's comic strips. And the Fourth Doctor's when the comics, when there was a lot of comics that were done. So that'll be interesting to check out again. Doctor Who Stories, Tom Baker interview. Is that new? I wonder. Science featurette. So this is kind of cool because This is this has one of the worst spin-offs imaginable, but it's really fun. Watch it with some friends, get a couple beers. But a Canine and Company. Oh, it is so 80s. Right from the opening sequence to the theme song, it is so 80s. Okay, so it's got all the stuff here. These are all remastered, by the way, so it's kind of cool. So we got the Canine Files, Behind the Sofa, excellent brand sofa. Brendan and Company. There's a new Ian Steers interview. Pebble Mill at 1. Happy Christmas trailer at Dog's Tale. A Writer's Room, which is new to this. Oh, it's got the Fourth Doctor Revisited. I've got the revisited sets that two of them that came out, the, like with the first 8 Doctors. Those revisited like documentaries that they did. See, during Doctor Who's anniversary, when Matt Smith was playing the Doctor, what they did was he had these like, half hour, 45 minutes usually long things where they'd sometimes a little bit longer depending on the Doctor's era, where they talk about that Doctor's era, talk about like his time as the Doctor, or the monsters that were in the show when he was playing the Doctor, and some of the we'd talk about some of the big stories as well. And each of the Doctors had one, and then afterwards they would show an episode. They'd show a serial. They'd pick a serial from that Doctor, and that they think kind of best epitomized that Doctor's era, and they would show that right afterwards. On the Fifth Doctor's Earth Shock, on the Fourth Doctor, what is it? It's over there. I'll check afterwards. Anyway, but this is the the complete the Fourth Doctor visited one on here. We get the 50th anniversary archive, a 2013 interview with Matthew Waterhouse, Panopticon archive. That's kind of cool. A 1993 interview with Tom Baker. I apologize there. Commercial break. Tom Baker in 1997 New Zealand Super Animation campaign. Galactic Glitter Tours Blu-ray trailer, and Studio Clocks, and the Scratchman trailer. So there's a ton of features on this, and just you guys can see now in the UK, each of the discs had like their own like artwork that specific to the story. Oh, I'm unboxing this, man. But the US or the North American release for this actually, hey, nice, just used kind of uniform. So all of them use that opening type of, for all 8 discs. So you gotta like read on the front there. So it's everything like, for instance, Canine Company special features. Amazing sets. I mean, I think the Peter Davison one didn't have this in it. Like they forgot to do one of these for the Peter Davison one. So I guess you just put it on and see what's on the set. But I'm super stoked to have this. Like I mentioned, when I first came in, I do have the first season, which would be Series 7, on back order. It's a temporary out of stock. Hey, Rich, they told me that it should be in on around mid-August. Welcome, dude. I got Doctor Who. I'm so excited. Now, this would be a very different like Doctor Who. This would be the last time that Tom Baker was portraying the character. This is when he left the show. Basically, the way it went is like he played the Doctor for the longest amount of time. He played it for 7 series. Is this really the best of the set so far? The issue was that, or you mean Series 7 is in Series 7 is in the first one with the robot and Genesis the Daleks. That would have the best stories. I've also pre-ordered Series 23, not 23, sorry, I haven't pre-ordered that one yet. Series 10, which is Series 4 of Jen Pertwee, Season 4 of Jen Pertwee. Tom Baker, yeah, he's the only one, like, knock on wood. He's him, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Peter Davison are the 4 Doctors that are still alive. That's the shorter one, right? Like the because I think there's like 5 stories in his first series. Because there's Robot, and Robot is kind of like Robot's really a throwback, really to still you're still gonna get a bit of a John Pertwee feel to Robot because they're not really like writing for uh for uh for Baker at this point. Like they're right, but it's still going. It's kind of like doesn't have that feel yet. But then you get into the classic stuff like Jensen Dogs. I think Arc of Space is on there as well, right? I think there's Santaran Experiment, which is like uh, 2 episodes. Um, so that'll be it's interesting to see that one as well. I know there's like a interview with him as well. It's a shame. I mean, like I've won people over. Like I think with Doctor Who, in my opinion, like with the new Doctor, who I think it's like finding your Doctor. Harry, yeah, Harry was. I like the character Harry, and there's a good dynamic with Harry in there as well. But Harry was chosen when they were gonna like use an older actor to play the Doctor, so Harry could be doing some of the action sequences that that they wouldn't that the Doctor couldn't do. However, they chose Tom Baker, and Tom Baker was definitely much younger, much more athletic, so he could do those action sequences. So they took Harry out. I don't think they should have though, and I'll tell you why right now. Like because I think there was a really good dynamic between like the Doctor and Harry. Uh, oh, nice. Uh, both of them trying to like be the hero to Sarah Jane. Um, but I think they kind of they messed up a bit with that. Like I know the reasoning behind it. Like yeah, definitely because they thought there's not enough for him to do. But in inventive writing, you could have found stuff to do, and it could have been more of like you wouldn't see anything with that dynamic again until like Matt Smith. Well, the best new Doctor was that's my better half's favorite like new Who character. The best Doctor of all time, in my not so humble opinion, is still Tom Baker. But out of the new Doctors, well, Matt Smith is brilliant, but he didn't have a lot. But David Tennant has better stories than Matt Smith. If Matt Smith would have had the writing that David Tennant had, because Matt Smith goes back to Patrick Troughton time. Like that's you can tell he loved Troughton. That's what he's going for. When you see David Tennant, as Doctor Who, you can tell that he was like heavily influenced by Peter Davison. That's that obviously, and to the point that Peter Davison now, that's his father-in-law. So, man, did he like do the ultimate Doctor Who fan thing, where he became Doctor Who, married the daughter of the guy that played his favorite Doctor Who, and then had his favorite Doctor Who, of course, become his father-in-law. Paul McGann was fantastic. I mean, like all you have to do is like listen to the audios that were done as well to see just how much potential that Paul McGann had. It's a shame, and it's a shame that they only got to do like really the Fox movie, which is okay, but there were some questionable things done with the Fox film. But I think overall it's a fun little film. I did enjoy watching it when it came out. I remember that summer, like when it came out, there's like that came out, and there's like Generation X, the movie. There's like a bunch of stuff Fox was putting on for like kind of pilots for that just didn't make it, unfortunately. But the guys that worked on that had been trying so hard to get Doctor Who made like brought back on the air for such a long time. And in a way, it's good that it didn't come back on, and Paul McGann didn't do it, because I don't think they really had a total grasp on what they wanted to do. But when it just the right timing after Curse Fatal Death, and then you got like Russell T Davies bringing the series back, and it's just like guys for guys here that don't know or haven't seen Doctor Who, there's a show that's been on since the 60s, was canceled in 1989 thanks to two people. There's two people that I seriously consider like really screwed over Doctor Who. Of course, there's Michael Grade, which a lot of people talk about, and behind the camera, Eric Seward, scriptwriter Eric Seward. I consider somebody that seriously, whether it was intentional because of what was going on between him and John Nathan Turner, or not, he completely botched, and I think purposely botched, Colin Baker's run on Doctor Who. Like there were some questionable decisions that he made as the script, as the, the script head. At that point, you could tell that. Yeah, I always felt that. And when you listen to Eric Seward, like, about it, oh, dude, why did you watch that? I mean, like, yeah, the money got less and less, and the episodes got less and less. And it was like, here's the thing: Doctor Who was under BBC's drama department. People always say, "Well, Doctor Who was a kid show." No, it was, yes. I mean, like, it was definitely wanting to get in the kiddies early on, but by the time we got around to John Pertwee, Doctor Who was no longer just a kid show, not even remotely. Then you're getting into like a lot more like darker stuff, and if you ever thought, like, if anybody ever thought, well, Doctor Who's really political now, oh man, you don't know nothing. Like, go back to Pertwee's era, go to the Paladins and stuff like that. That's when it started. It always was. It was always like, always had politics in the series, because it would have to like talk with Thatcherism and stuff like that. What's amazing, Warlock, is how much that they could do, and how much that they did do and succeed with the dwindling budget that they had. Just and I think the best example of that is because during the Tom Baker era, like at least the beginning of it, you still got a decent budget like for television overall. But when you're getting to stuff like you got her name right, Mary Meadows. She tried to get the series canceled a few times actually. But when you get to like Sylvester McCoy, when their budget is nothing at this point, and yet you get this amazing like series like 26 and 25 too. But like the last couple series of Sylvester McCoy are incredible. They're just so well done. And there's so many great, we got like so many great stories at this point. The stories that creep me out actually. Hans Wang Chang, that is classic Hinchcliffe Home era Doctor Who, and I got that here on my revisitation set. So I think, if I'm correct, so all the old features are still on these Blu-ray discs, and you have new ones as well. And at this point, for anybody that wanted to go in and collect like classic Doctor Who, I would take Warlock's recommendation and start with the Series 7, or what's called here in North America, Tom Baker Season 1. And it's a great way to start if you've never seen the series, because low budget or chintzy things or not, when you get into watching something like Genesis of the Daleks, I really I dare you to come back after watching like the 6-part of Genesis of the Daleks and tell me, that's not effective television. That's not good drama, because Genesis is incredible. It's one of those that will stand out. Like, if you're not a fan of Doctor Who, or if you've never seen Doctor Who before, you can go in watching Genesis and get like a really, really good story with and not have to have seen it before. You get like the very best version of Davros, and if you're not a Doctor Who fan, you probably don't know who Davros is, but you probably know who the Daleks are, right? So, those little pepper pot guys, Nazis in space, the Daleks. So Davros, he's the dude that created the Daleks. And Genesis of the Daleks is the first time. Oh yeah, there's a lot. Like over the years, especially during the Wilderness years, Brian, which is basically the time when Doctor Who was canceled, basically from 1989 to 2005. That was oh yeah, they put out a few, like they put out a couple of those Tom Baker, they put out a Tom Baker's years one, they put out a Colin Baker years one too. Living dolls, like the the autons. Was it like Chris Eccleston? Was it like basically, was it with Rose Tyler? Like, did he basically come in and say, "Hi, so what's your name?" And she's like, "Rose." "Hi, Rose. Run." And the Autons were some of my favorite villains. I haven't seen them done completely well in the new series. I haven't seen the Cybermen done completely well in the new series. The closest was during Peter Capaldi's run, where we got to see the Mendosian Cybermen. In the new series of Doctor Who, they brought the Cybermen back in series 3, I think. And basically what they did was they took it off of, like, there's a Big Finish audio, which pretty much lifted. Big Finish is a company, I'm throwing out a lot of stuff here, I do apologize. During the time that Doctor Who was off the air, from 1989 to 2005, it's still ongoing actually, Big Finish was a company that kept the Doctor Who alive, basically, by making audio dramas of Doctor Who. And they actually had, when they could, they had the doctors like that were there at the time, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Peter Davison, playing themselves in the roles, and they would get some of the companions back. If you ever get a chance to check them out, there's some really, really great ones. And Paul McGann would get to play the Doctor after, when he with those audio ones, and so you get to hear at least. And there are some really great ones. I mean, there was one done, I think it was during an anniversary time, where they picked 3 villains, and it was Davros, the Master, and Omega, which are 3 of the biggies. And they gave them each their own audio drama. The Davros one was particularly good, if I remember that one correctly, because that's the one where him, the Doctor, are like stuck on this planet, and they have to, because they're both, scientists, geniuses, you have to work together. It is, I mean, but if there's some of them you can find on, if you go to the website, some of them are like, are free to download. There's other ones that are free to download. That's the thing. I know it can be overwhelming, but what you have to do, hey Cinema, welcome dude, welcome Dave. What you have to do is just pick, like you can go with the newer stuff, for instance, like, but if you like the old school stuff, I only typically receive Aero packages with standard shipping. It took me, I'm in North America, for me it took about just a little over a week. With the expedited shipping, it took me 2 days, but just I think a little bit over a week for the standard shipping. And probably a little bit faster. We are in the United States, I'm in Canada. I know, I'm really excited about the Stephen King Blu-ray coming out there. There was actually some trailers that dropped today too. No problem. There was the trailer for Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Looks really good. Hey, Kathy. There is the trailer for It, which actually pretty cool. Not as effective for me as the first trailer, but still really good. Was more of like a creepy scene. And there was the trailer for Cats, which my better half wants to see because she loves cats. And Top Gun, yeah, Top Gun 2, which looks like Top Gun, but they're older, which I guess is what it's supposed to be, right? So it's Top Gun 2. So it's exactly what you'd expect for Top Gun 2 to be. But yeah, if you're collecting, if you're wanting to go in to start like collecting Doctor Who, and you're kind of, if you like classic Doctor Who, then the best way to do it, like in my opinion, is grab the Tom Baker, the first set that they put out of Tom Baker. It is a great primer for Doctor Who. You really don't need to know a lot going in to collect from there on. Actually, I'm not sure of that one either. But out of all of them, I'm not gonna lie, I like the It trailer, It 2 trailer, but I really like the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. It was really good, especially when Shannon Elizabeth's there and she's like, I'm gonna show you your love child, and Just check it out. It's really funny. Some people are like saying, "Oh, this looks horrible," and I'm like, you don't like Kevin Smith anyway, do you? Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing here. Because if you enjoy, his films, the Kevin Smith films, there's no way in hell you look at Jay and Silent Bob reboot and say this looks like a bad film. T- Tony Scott, I think he might have directed the first one. I'll be honest with you, I saw Top Gun, in theater back in the day, but it was never a movie that really stood out to me. All right, Andy, we think alike. It was never one that really stood out to me as something that oh, and I guess I should mention, Criterion made their October announcements, and I'll bring them up here right now. So just give me a second. Because I want to see if anybody's excited about getting any of these on Blu-ray. So there is Madawan, Muhammad Ali, When We Were Kings, which is a documentary. And that's coming next week, actually, Spine number 1000. Hexen, which is finally getting a Blu-ray. Thanks, Warlock. And last but definitely not least, I guess the one that's most interesting to me and my better half, is, aside from Hexen, is the Josef von Sternberg set, which we had ordered on when it came out as a DVD, but it went out of print and we couldn't get it. So now we're kind of glad because we can get it on Blu-ray. So that's the 4 Criterions coming out. And he's right, as next week, they're going to be announcing the Spine number 1000. People are kind of like, there's a lot of speculation about like what Spine 1000 is going to be. I'd like to ask you guys right there now, anybody that collects Criterion, hey there. The Ali one should be good. What do you think? What do you guys think Spine number 1000 is going to be? Clute is one that I do want to get. I know you got that one. I'm a huge Donald Sutherland fan. Great film anyway, but I'm a huge Donald Sutherland fan. See, because 1000 is going to be, I think, if 1000 was just going to be a regular one, they would have announced it by now. They want to make that announcement on its own. We're going to get like a trailer or something like that. So, some people think, yes, some people think it's going to be Citizen Kane. I don't. I really don't. Some people think that they're going to do the Godzilla box set because they do have so many Godzilla films right now that they could be doing like a big Godzilla box set, which would be really cool. And thanks, Dave. That's what I was about to get into. And people like me and Dave apparently are hoping that we're going to get an Kurosawa box set, much in the way that we got for Bergman. So I would do a Godzilla set closer to Christmas, like maybe a Christmas set or maybe slightly thereafter. I would like to see 1000 to be something epic. I would like to see Akira Kurosawa be the big box set. Terrence Malick, great set, but I don't think it would have the same weight as Kurosawa is going to have. But eventually, yes, definitely. It's going to be big. Godzilla box set. Godzilla will be big. Kurosawa still, for me, it's as far as films go, obviously it's bigger. But if we're going big in terms of like huge monsters, then definitely Godzilla will be big. We also don't know when 1000 is going to be released. We've seen these are the October releases, so that means 1000 is going to be a November release, or it'll be interesting to see. Equinox. I don't expect anything, but I expect a set. It's going to be some set. The Godzilla set, a Kurosawa set. I would be in for either one of those. Jurassic Park, I don't think so. That's like putting, let's get that Criterion collection of, you get number 1000 and said, we're finally doing exactly what I was going to say. Zombie thinks like me. It's the Michael Bay collection. The Rock. Armageddon, the Transformers films. Truly important films. I remember when because I bought like Armageddon at a store, like at a at a rental place, and it was an early Criterion. I didn't even know it was Criterion, right? So I open it up and I start reading, like, because it's got like little liner notes in the booklet, and I don't know if anybody's got Armageddon. Check it out sometime because it's been a long time, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on the details. That'll be us. And it's they talk to his teacher, and he's like, nothing prepared me for the amazing, like, high school photos of wow, they really dropped the price of like Michael Bay. And I thought that was the most hilarious thing. I mean, like, I went around for like weeks, like, well, literally weeks after that, and talked to my oldest, and I'd just turn over and look at my dad sometime, and I'd be like, hey, Dad, I know you like Hammer, I know you're a big Nashi fan, but nothing is going to prepare you for the high school photos of Michael Bay. That just stuck with me. It really did. Like, check it. I'm sure I did not dream that is on that. That comment is on the Armageddon one. See, but the thing with what they could do is that just look at the library, the catalog of Kurosawa stuff that they got. Like, they put out a DVD Akira Kurosawa set, like, ways back, and that was just like the DVD stuff, like, because they got a lot of his stuff, like his early stuff, like, they pretty much run the gamut. They got a ton of his stuff. So I would really love to have a big Akira Kurosawa set, like, sitting right next to my Bergman set upstairs. There's a lot of cool Hammer sets. Kathy, see, now that when you got region free, right? You got on region free. You're going region free. Uh, then you got to get those indicator sets, which I'll show you on here sometime. Actually, the indicator Hammer sets, incredible. There's 3 sets out, 2 more coming, 5 Hammer sets, man. So Kathy, altogether, it's gonna be like 20 Hammer films with big booklets and features and all kinds of cool stuff. And you'll notice as it gets up, each indicator box, it gets better. Yeah, 2 more coming. So I'd say if you know for sure you're going to get them, and, like, look for, look online, when, like, keep an eye on the Hammer sets. When you go down price wise, like, definitely grab them. Get them before they go to print, because I will tell you right now, they will put some out like single, some of them at single, but you're going to miss the booklet, and the booklet is paramount in this one. Cronenberg collection. I would love that. But I think if you're doing a 1,000, it's got to be epic. Like, it's in 1,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Oh, you got something that cares. Awesome. So, because Bergman himself would have been an amazing 1,000, but that's already done. We got that. So for me, it's got to be Akira Kurosawa. There's nobody else that I can think that would be like a 1,000 worthy. Powell Pressburger, great films, and I love their stuff. Not enough of them to get an epic size like a Bergman style set. That's the thing. I mean, like, they have like other directors and stuff that they can do, but there's only certain directors that are going to give that, that type of feel and have that many films that they can actually, kind of make a big coffee table book, like, curate it. I'm trying to think of other directors that they could do. Sinbad set was the first one we bought. 2 more coming, yeah. That's what they said. So there's 2 more of those coming. I gotta eventually. I had ordered the Norman J. Warren set, but I had to cancel that one for right now because I just couldn't afford it. But I want to grab that one down the road. And there's the Marlene Dietrich set, which I also want to get because I do want to get all the indicator sets. They're really good. And I'm guessing maybe October we'll probably hear another, you know, indicator set. I'm guessing we'll probably hear another hammer set around October. That's kind of what I think. That is true. The Bergman set does not have a spine number. That's something to think about too. Fuller set's fantastic. Volume 3 Hammer is my favorite of the set so far. The Volume 2 may have some like the better films. Volume 3 has some of the better features. And if you like the actiony stuff, definitely, definitely. John Ford? John Ford would be do they have a lot of John Ford though? Like that's what I'm trying to think. Russ Myers. Don't you wish, man? The only Russ Meyer set is the one that it's not showing now in the background. I've hidden Russ Meyer from you this time, guys. Are y'all like upset and disappointed about that? You can't see my Russ Meyer set in the background, but you can see like the Breakfast Club, right over there, right there. I don't know. What to be honest with you, I'm trying to think of who like what sets they could do. Um, I love to, I got to get the Cassavetes box set. I don't have it, but number 1000. I want a set for number 1000. Did you really? Oh, when I was a kid, grade 3, grade 4. We're diving deep here. Uh, they from Scholastic Books. I bought that Alan Ormsby book. You know, it was like thin, but you know, it was so cool. And you look at all the different monsters, and there's like makeup stuff you can do. I read that book over and over again. Um, Later on, I would actually use the book when I was doing public speaking to do like a speech on practical effects, and I talked about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as an example. Jim Varney, complete work. Get all the commercials now too. I mean, it really depends. I mean, if Fox wants to keep it for themselves, if they want to do it, you got it from Amazon. That is cool. I mean, like that is such a cool book, man. That's like my childhood right there. I read that, like I dog-eared that book, man. I bought that book, and I think the next year I bought Condor Man, which did Condor Man ever get a Blu-ray, guys? Even like straight from the Disney Club. For people that don't know, there were superhero movies before the Marvel Universe, and one of them was a movie called Condor Man, and it's about a guy that is a cartoonist, and he gets this suit, this Condor Man suit, which is a condor suit, and it flies, and there's spies coming after him. And do you know who played Condor Man? Anybody? Condor Man was played by the Phantom of the Opera. So yes, exactly, Michael Crawford. It was Michael Crawford from Phantom of the Opera who played Condor Man. Epic Cheese is right. I had that one. I remember like I got a bunch of books around the time. Very much like Great American Hero. In the way that it was done. Classic Disney cheese. If you ever get a chance to check it out, it's a lot of fun. It's probably won't hold up to the standards of what today, because I remember like getting a lot of the books, and like the novelizations were always better than the films, because I had like World's Greatest Athlete, and the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, which of course Kurt Russell. But there were so many good ones like that. I Scholastics was my jam growing up. Peck and Power Water Hill box set. Actually, I'd like to see both those. Back then, you got it back into the wall. Well, so did I actually, because I'm not sure how old you are. I'm in my late 40s. So when I got that, that was back around the time when it came out. So that would have been in the 70s as well that I picked it up. It was it would have probably been new back then. Exactly. That's the one I had to the novelization of that. Okay, so you're just a couple years like older than me. So yeah, yeah, we would have had probably get grabbed around the same time. Did you get it from Scholastics too? I got mine from no, from Scholastics back in the day. So eventually I'll have to pick it up again. Vincent Price, but Vincent Price got such it's out of print, I guess. Got a really good set from Arrow, which is amazing. Return to Captain Invincible. There's one. Well, like look at the movie that I showed you guys. Like the VHS I got, like An Eye for an Eye. That's Christopher Lee in this one here. So I want to see like some classic Christopher Lee. Um, yeah, as an evil character. Oh, did you pick up the Deep Space Nine? Like there was a lot that we wanted to get, but oh yeah, let me just show you. I'll do it really quick. But I couldn't afford much, so I just grabbed the Doctor Who thing because it was like fairly cheap. So Kathy, it went out of print, but Arrow put out the Six Gothic Tales box set. Is Vincent Price Six Gothic Tales. This is one of the prizes of my collection actually, with some fantastic films in here. Hey, excellent! Congratulations, man! I wish I could have got it myself. I'm glad somebody got to get it. So this has Fall of the House of Usher. Remember that really? The Pit and the Pendulum. I'll just go through this really fast. Tales of Terror. I really love this cover, by the way. I'm a sucker for green. I'm like Steph. So I'll probably have to get the Maverick Bava set too. The Raven. Haunted Palace. Tombs of Ligeia. But the big thing in this set, the amazing thing, is this book. This hardbound book. Six Gothic Tales, Edgar Allan Poe. There are some great interviews and pictures. There's stuff in each of the films. And if you're a super geek like me, and you like your comics and that, Back to the Future, I got that set. It's a really good set, by the way. Then you get to see the complete Dell comic versions of many of the films that are in this set. Complete. With their covers and the amazing artwork and just sometimes like stuff that's done in between, like the incredible, like an incredibly amazing set. And I have my better half to thank for this, because this set was going out of print. I didn't know how close it was to going out of print. But my better half said, we got to grab this now because I don't think this one's going to stay around. And I said, maybe we can wait on it, get it down the road type of thing. But she was like, she had a feeling. And I think the day later, like day after we ordered it, I think it went into print. It's incredible. I mean, if you ever get a chance to get it, Murdersville, perfect. You can back me up on this one. If you ever get a chance, if you ever see the set somewhere, if you ever get a chance to get it at a decent price, because it is unfortunately fairly expensive right now, definitely grab it, because it is incredibly well done, and they just put so much work into it. Like 6 fantastic films, and that book is worth it on its own. I've got that one over there too, the MGM Midnight one. I think another one you're talking about. Hold on. Oh, see daisies. There's the Fly set, Fox Horrors, Boris Karloff. I think, is this the one? I'm I hope not, because there's the August titles are really interesting, and they're really limited. There's like a couple of them are limited to 2,000, whereas as opposed to like the 3,000 that you would normally get, which I found pretty intriguing. Like before me too. Tom Baker was my was my doctor, but I did like growing up. I did really grow to really enjoy Colin Baker, and a lot of that had to do with there's a magazine that, well, before Fangoria, there was another magazine, a sci-fi magazine called Starlog, and us older people remember Starlog. It was the way we got our sci-fi information back in the day, and they did some great stuff, and they would like focus heavily on a lot of Doctor Who stuff. So when Colin Baker became the Doctor, Famous Monsters, all right, that's my dad's era, from my dad years later. How long have I been collecting? I'm a collector, but this time around, I guess, for what you're seeing here right now, I would say it's been 9 to 10 years that to amass what I've gotten here. You know, this room, and of course the TV room and stuff upstairs and that. So around 9 or 10 years. But I've been collecting a lot longer than that. But before, total transparency, I moved a lot, like around a lot when I was, well, I guess, you know, younger. Because of that, and I lived in some pretty rough areas, I had to sell off things in order to move. Just when I started to have like a semi-decent, like a shelf or something like that, I'd have to sell stuff off in order to move. I had stuff get stolen on me in certain areas where I actually, you know, that was difficult. And when I finally decided I was getting older, I was settling down. My kids were in high school. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to get. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to collect. I want to collect film. I want to collect cinema. Like, I've always loved it. I've always started collections, and never really committed myself. Well, committed myself, but I always something got in the way. I said I'm gonna commit myself to it, and so around 9 or 10 years ago, I started like collecting. And the first thing I picked up was a Lone Ranger 75th anniversary set. I started a new job, and it paid pretty well at the time. And my very first check that I got from that job, I bought myself one thing, and it was a Lone Ranger set. And that was the start of my collecting, as far as like collecting like boutique labels and like and genre titles and stuff like that. Shout Factory's Corman collection kind of like caught my eye early on, and I started collecting some of that, and that led into like when Scream Factory came around. Horror Hound magazine, which was a magazine I used to read all the time, they had an article on Arrow video, and just recently started, nice, and that got me collecting like overseas, because I started collecting Arrow video, and around that same time, I realized I could get Doctor Who for cheaper in the UK. First VHS I ever bought. That's hard. Actually, no, hold on. There's a couple on the same day. So I picked up, it was the Hulk Hogan one of the Hulkamanias, okay? Hey, how are you, man? Pretty good. And I picked up Pyramids of Mars, which was the BBC North American release. For me, well, I got a couple region free players. You got to. I mean, like, when you get there, when you become, really? Nice. Zombie used for $68. Oh, I'm trying to think of anything I bought earlier than that. But like, the Hulkamania one cost me a bit back in the day. And I, of course, Pyramids of Mars. I watched that one. Me and my eldest, like we would get in it. We would like just sit down. We would like watch it, and we'd rewatch it. Well, Sutek and all that. My better half, one of her first is Empire Strikes Back, and Popeye was the Popeye set that she had, like Popeye VHS set. Um, I didn't. I bought like a lot of wrestling stuff early on. I was big in wrestling back in the day, and like a lot of the WCW stuff, like a lot of the like when they started putting it the pay-per-views and stuff on like the Bunkhouse Brawls and the Cheetown. I used to buy a lot of that, and Doctor Who was really hard to find, so I didn't get much of that. I tried to get like horror. Horror was really hard to get. I think I entered like a club, like one of those Columbia House clubs. Although I know I did, and one of the very first thing I picked up on like from Columbia House was Shove It Out actually. And the first like new movie I got from Columbia House was Waterworld, which was new at the time. But yeah, there was like but most of the stuff that I collect was older stuff. I do. I mean, like for me, like I'm not sure if you're here when I got in here today, but I still to this day still collect like VHS and Laserdisc. I don't have any CEDs yet, which is pre VHS actually. That's a good one. Predator's a good one. You had a good one. But I do want to get like I had a chance to get a CED machine with around like 25 CEDs and the TV that comes with it, like capacitive and capacity electronic disc, something like that, capacity enhanced disc, whatever. So CDs were kind of like were really cool, and they're like quality wasn't the greatest, but basically they looked amazing. Uh, Perfect. Somebody said they don't. Somebody said they used to watch wrestling, but they don't watch it anymore. I have. I got 3 letters for you. AEW. You will watch again. What's the thing, right? Like everybody's got their voice, man. Uh, and mine is like you. It's film. That's what I collect. When I started collecting film again, I was still collecting comics, and I was like, luckily, see, Kino Sale could tempt me, but I'm gonna be out of town at my dad's next week, Kathy. Just so you know, I am gonna be taking this here with me, so that I can make a video, like a proper video, at my dad's. Last time I had to prop up my iPad on on some books. WWF is not the best right now. That's not what I would watch when it comes to wrestling. Like it all depends. I mean, like put it to you this way, like what's your favorite? What is your era? What's your wrestling era? I won't get too much in wrestling right now because I know some people get annoyed when I do that. But if you like wrestling, like you like actually, I'm not sure actually. But not only that, Kathy, but hopefully I'm bringing my dad back with me for a week. Oh, I like you even more now, be more guys, because you said that. Uh, TNA, especially earlier era TNA, was amazing. Used to watch like Hogan and Savage. Okay, so I don't know if he will. I mean, like Punk's doing a lot right now, so I don't think Punk is coming back anytime soon, guys. To be completely honest with you, I wish, but I don't think. I think it's more of a wish thing than anything else. Your wrestling era is mid '90s, so I think for right now, AEW is your go to for that style stuff. A Vestron? You mean where's my Vestron collection? It's over there. I can show you afterwards. You want me to? AEW is doing a lot of really good stuff right now, and it's very much in the Attitude Era stuff, but still really great wrestling. I still try to watch WrestleMania and the and Royal Rumble. Those are the two that I watch. Synapse New Tales. You mean the Django one? But AW is good, and if you don't mind, like I like Japanese wrestling. Oh, AW is the new one out in indie. So basically, some of the best independent wrestlers on the go, and some of the most known ones. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks. If you haven't seen the Young Bucks wrestle, man, you got to see the Young Bucks wrestle. They are an amazing tag team. And Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, John Moxley used to be called Dean Ambrose in the WWE. They really messed up his character in WWE. Anyway, so John Moxley, just so many really good wrestlers in AEW, and even the late Luke Perry's son is in AEW as well. By the way, it's going to be starting its show actually in the biggest possible way that you can think of. And the cataloging is horrible, man. And it is starting on TNT, so it will be going against, it's going there where WCW was. AEW is going to be. That's pretty epic when you think about it. Right now they're doing like some pay-per-view shows, and depending on where you're at, like I know some people watched it on the Bleacher Report, for instance, but they've got an actual television program starting in October. Jim Ross, the good old JR, Jim Ross, is one of their announcers. He's the one that and he also works behind the scenes as well. Oh, AJ Styles should have been the face of TNA. TNA was doing really, really well. But a lot of people look at TNA and they'll say, Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, they completely ruined TNA. They're the complete problem of TNA. But really, that's not completely true. Did they hurt it? Yes, they did. But you go back and watch a lot of TNA. I got a slasher book, but not sure if it's the one you're talking about. If you go back and watch TNA the year before, it wasn't they weren't booking the best. And there was some good booking in once Bish got kind of got the feel of it. But here's the thing, Vince Russo. I'm just gonna say that name again. So, bro, Vince Russo. Yeah, Vince Russo. See, Dixie. Yeah. Now, just to let you know, at the time that AJ Styles signed with the WWE, when he went, he actually had planned to go back to TNA. He was going back there. He was a company guy. He was a loyal guy. My pop used to talk about Haystacks, actually, Haystacks Calhoun. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Because my pop used to have some really old wrestling magazines. He's passed on now. He's an amazing guy. But yeah, so he was signing up to TNA again, and his manager, his agent, pretty much said, "No, you're not. You're going to make more money in WWE, a lot more money." And AJ Styles was very, very unsure and uncertain about going into WWE. But oh, talk to you later, Randy. You have a great evening there, man. But he was at the last minute, pretty much at the 11th hour. He was signed on to WWE. Yeah. Well, they could have put him in in NXT, which have better wrestlers. But the thing is, people think that there's not good wrestlers now. There's a lot. There's really good wrestlers right now. Probably some. This is probably one of the best times that wrestling wise that we've ever had. Unfortunately, it's not been the best booking wise for like mainstream wrestling. If you're watching the WWE, you're seeing a lot of good wrestlers, and they're getting, and most of them you're not seeing on screen half the time. They're wasted. But if you kind of get out of the circle that is the WWE, and you watch things like New Japan Pro Wrestling, for instance, NJPW, right? Because I think tomorrow, right, the Climax starts. G1 Climax. I definitely did, man. Britain had a real hard kind of like real hard tough style of wrestling there. Yeah, his wife was doing nursing when he originally got offered the chance to go to WWE, and he turned it down. He turned the WWE down a couple times actually. Uh, they're gonna waste him. I'm just gonna say that I love Asuka, and I like Kerry Sane. Have a great night there. Thank you for coming in. But I really think that Kerry Sane and Asuka started really good, man. They had this build up, and she was like undefeated. She had her kind of Goldbergian like style thing, and then nope, then suddenly no, Asuka lost, and then she was losing regularly, and it seemed like they didn't know what to do with her. If you want to talk about, yeah, no, Shinsuke Nakamura, perfect example. Here's a guy completely over, has all the talent, like he can do stuff, man. He can do amazing stuff. And same like Asuka, you know, both of them were completely over, completely. The crowd were behind them, and WWE got it the golden shovel, and just that's true. That's why you got to hope that Paul Heyman and Bischoff are going to do something different. Now they've been put in executive director positions. I'm not. A lot of people were excited about Heyman being put in director and an executive director position. A lot of people weren't excited that Bischoff were because of the TNA debacle that happened. I, however, think that Aces and Eights, for instance, was really well done. Um, so I kind of dug that. I was a really big Aces and Eights fan, and I loved the reveal. I mean, that was super cool. Uh, and then on the night, then when they did the next show, then he had this like 5-part thing where basically the leader of Aces and Eights like kind of said how he did the deception and what he planned and how he did it. It was really well done. I mean, like really well plotted. Um, Obviously, it's much like the NWO thing, but still, it was extremely. It was cool. Uh, what I don't like about Paul Heyman right now is he gave it to Brock. He gave it back to Brock, and I'm so done with Brock Lesnar as a champion. I don't think so. I think I know what you mean. Like you go out, but here's the thing: SmackDown is going on Fox. No, you know that's his new home. Uh, which means, and they're going to have a lot of things that they're gonna have like people in there, like executives, that are going to say stuff, right? That are going to be like, well, this we'd like to have this, and we kind of like to have this, and we like to do this. Bischoff is perfect when it comes to marketing and when it comes to like dealing with executives and higher ups at other companies. He's got his own production company. This is what he does, and he does it really well. Uh, Bischoff's one of my idols when it comes to marketing. He's really good at that. He's really good at marketing. Um, I'm an ex-business student. Well, I business degree. But so he was a perfect choice for us for SmackDown. Paul Heyman should be the perfect choice for Raw. And Paul Heyman is touted, as being one of the geniuses of wrestling, one of the great minds. Trust me, if you ever ask Paul Heyman, he'll tell you that. And I think he is. But much like Bischoff needs to be kept pretty far away from Hogan, I think. Oh yeah, it's called like the women's revolution. Like there's a lot of really good female wrestlers right now, Kathy. Probably more so than any other time that I can think about. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, is an incredible wrestler. There are so many good ones. Actual business, but I mean, like, get him away from Brock for a bit, just on screen, like just let him not brook. Not, yeah, Kathy, if you want to see women's wrestling, it's actually really, really good right now. It's probably the best that women's wrestling has ever been. I'm not even joking. I mean, like I grew up around all this stuff. Should do a video on wrestling. I can, and I actually probably will in the near future, especially where in my last flea market, like big haul, I did get some new wrestling tapes and that, and I did show them here actually. But can I be honest with you? The last time I did a wrestling centric video that was just wrestling, it didn't get very many views, and it was a shame because I'm a huge fan of like wrestling. I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who, but and I would love to talk about it more. If I put Scream Factory or Arrow Video or Vinegar Syndrome on here, Shimmer's really good. Then because a lot of the people that got started were Shimmer. I got like the first 40 Shimmers. I know that if I say Kino Seal, right, or I say Vinegar Syndrome announcement, yeah, I know it's like that's a solid 300 views right there. It's a given. If I say wrestling, or if I say Doctor Who, or like I did, like I was requested the Film Noir box set, the Film Noir one that I did yesterday, which I really enjoyed, and I had a blast making that video, because I don't make videos. One, I don't make enough money on these videos to not work. I don't make much money at all, to be honest with you. I don't have a large subscriber base. So when I make a video, 9 times out of 10, I'm doing it just, for me and for you guys. But still, it's nice to, it gets a little discouraging sometimes when you put your heart into it and nobody watches. And for the first few years of my channel, man, that was like it. When I got like 20 viewers on a video early on, it was like, wow. My first video, like, that's the thing. And I think you should hopefully be able to do both, right? But for me, at the end of the day, are you going to see like a wrestling collection video? Yes, because, and to make, I went about it a long way, but I guess the best way to say it is I do this for me and for you guys. So there's always going to be people that come in that don't like. If I wanted to be a super popular channel, for instance, I would not be having hour-long and 2-hour-long videos. Thanks, Mug. Because that's the barrier for that. That's the barrier. I'd be doing like 10 to 15-minute videos. But that's not the style of my channel. That's not what, that's not what I like. I like the interactivity of it. I like being able to talk to you guys. I learn as much from you guys as you do anytime that you tune in here. And that's, that's not BS. That's actually true. You guys do like steer me in the right direction on a lot of on a lot of movies, and so hopefully sometimes I'm able to steer you guys in the right direction and sometimes the wrong direction as well. Vinegar Syndrome is a company that I verily love. So a bunch of people found me because of Vinegar Syndrome. Some people are here because they listen to me on a podcast. which was awesome. I was very lucky to do that. I'm a movie geek. I don't think I could really be talking about too much else on here. Like I knew some people that did. It is hard to find a good discussion when it comes to film, unfortunately. Hellmaster, that should be fun, man. Kathy, that is such a horrible VHS cover back in the day. Hellmaster did, but I want it. I do want that one. August is interesting. August is interesting for sure too. I know that we're like I was talking to Brian about like one of the other. Thanks, I really appreciate that by the way, because it's just nice to hear sometimes. We're planning to do another episode of Vinegar Syndrome for just this down the road, and we got one movie picked out. We just need to pick out another one. Find me through Scream Factory. So you got yeah. Oh, let us know how Hellmaster is. I don't have that one yet, so I'm kind of interested. The reason I can't do the some people can do those like what I bought this week type of things. I just don't have the bones to do it. I don't have the cash to go like to be like. I think I do pretty good, overall. But I can't. I could not be like I'm going out this and getting everything. On I wish I could, man. I would. Like I would totally do that. I'm just like super stoked. After this, I am going upstairs and I'm going to check out one of these behind the sofas because obviously I've seen a lot of these here episodes already. But I'll check one of the behind the sofas first. Then I'll watch one of the Doctor Who things. Super stoked about that, by the way. Oh, I did not take it as such. Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome is actually pretty quick. Dolomite's fantastic. Dolomite is such fun. Do you have the other ones as well? Dolomite is probably my favorite. Just I'm going in today and I'm picking up what popular movie number 3 with guests. Actually, I thought about that. That's going to be much harder now, like doing guest wise because they recently took out Google. Google. What's it called again? Google's channel, Google's stream thing that they did. I used to use it early on. I mean, I was in a few like live streams early on. I did one with people like Zanzarak. I did one with him early on. Logan Toxic, Movie Cave Dave, 4K Cinema HD. If you know who those guys are, those were some of the people that I did some like early streams with, and I did some others that I don't want to talk about. But there was I did some good ones. It's going to be harder now. It's going to be a lot harder. Logan Toxic is actually a really nice guy. I kind of like spoke with Logan Toxic back when he was starting out actually, and he just had that. I could tell there's certain people as they're coming up, as they're starting their channel, that I could say, yeah, this person's is totally catching on, right? Thanks, Warlock. Yeah, I know you know. That was yeah. Still to this day, man. There's some fantastic channels that don't get a lot of views, and eventually I'm going to mention some of the channels out there. Sometimes, because of earlier YouTube drama, I stopped doing the shout out videos that I used to do because it backfired. Hey, girls. But there are some like really cool channels out there right now. Like just off the top of my head, I recently watched Lauren's Collection, which is she's from she's in England, and she's actually really good. Logan's Criterion song, it's utterly genius. My entire family has that stuck in their head every time a Criterion song comes around. When it comes to like the, you too, man. Have a great evening, Fedman. Man, I said it really fast, didn't I? So my Canadian, this is my Canadian coming out. Yeah, Lawrence Clutch, you, yeah, because I've seen you like talk, like, put comments in there too. I find her really good. She's like kind of shy in the way, like she doesn't, isn't coming on camera, but then again, it's YouTube and people on YouTube can be pretty different sometimes. But she really, and she's like me, she's a Doctor Who fan like I am. So like she's like a big Doctor Who fan. She's got the steel book sets. I mean, she's over in there in London though, so she can go grab them. And she has an amazing collection. Uh, I'm very jealous of her Doctor Who stuff, and she's so young too, right? Well, she seems young. I mean, like maybe she's not really young. Well, she's young. I'm sure she's young. She seems like she sounds like she's younger. Like younger for me. I'm an old fogey. And anyway, probably like my kids' age. Have you ever thought about joining a letterbox? I think that I do have a letterbox account, but I've never used it. The Stirring Guy is a fantastic collection. Is that Andrew Bellina? Maybe. I spoke to Andrew a few times. Andrew, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but Andrew's like a huge like Halloween fan. Extra the Mutilator. I've got to check that one out. I watched a few of these like kind of review people that I can definitely recommend. Brandon Tenold, I mentioned him a lot. He's a Canadian guy. He's really popular. Way funnier than like the Cinema Snob or anybody like that. But yeah, Brandon Tenold, extremely good. Oh yes, I do know Todd Slaughter. I would love to see those remastered, dude. I would love to see Todd Slaughter stuff like remastered. Fan by Flicks, by the way. If you've never checked out Fan by Flicks, nobody has a better dry sense of humor than Fan by Flicks. Trust me, check that guy out. Yeah, when I moved into this house here, we got the Bell, the fastest internet speed that we could get because we lived in an area the previous year and we had like crap internet and we had to get satellite TV because you couldn't get any other type of TV there. So I came here and I came downstairs and I put the camera here and I said, you know what, I'll do a short live video just to see how it goes. Because I said my internet should be good enough to do a video like live, as opposed to doing one like the tape ones that I used to do. And I really enjoyed it. And I live in an area where there's not a lot of like collectors like me, like movie collectors that I know, for instance. And so this became a really great way to like talk to other people. My favorite actors, Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. Oh my God, I've never really thought about that. Like, are there any actors? I like Charles Bronson. I was a really big Charles Bronson fan. I got a lot of his stuff. God, like, I'm trying to think, like, I like James Cagney. I like a lot of the older guys. I mean, Robert Ryan was an actor that I liked. I think there's a lot of like film noir guys that are in my mind right now where I did the video last night. But I'm trying to think of actors that I like. I like the modern day actors. I like there's people I watch, but I'm trying to see who stands out. Serial at Midnight's fantastic, and Heath is such a nice guy, by the way, guys. Heath is like legit nice behind the scenes. So I always say, like check out his website as well. Check out his channel. Your dad got you into Charles Bronson? 10 to Midnight, B Movie Archives. 10 to Midnight. That's my favorites. Fantastic, fantastic one. I watched a lot of like the action or stuff today. I was a big Michael Dudikoff fan. I used to I watched a lot of like the kind of the cheesy action films, a lot of the horror slasher stuff, which didn't usually have like an actor that would be going back and forth. Mechanic is fantastic. Made you watch Death Wish? Awesome. Did it make you watch Death Wish 2? Because that can be scarring as a child. But because Death Wish 2 is like, everybody gets raped. That's Death Wish 2. Wilson's Movie Museum. Okay, nice. I always like when I find new channels. That's key. I love that, and I'm so bad at like. It takes me a while to catch up on stuff, and then I do binges of people's channels. Like Kubrick Lover, for instance. He has a channel on here, which is actually really good. And I kind of do have the binge when it comes to things. So I'll get so far behind. Death. I don't own Death on yet. I really got to own that one. Cloud Rains. Now you're going old school, man. I love Burt Lancaster, who I don't think is talked about enough. Is really good. Stitch Together Pictures. Is that the guy that did Boots to Reboots? Because Boots to Reboots was really freaking good. Something happened behind the scenes, I think, but which stopped him from doing it. He just couldn't make the money on it anymore, because some people that come in to do this, you got to understand they're not. Some of them aren't like me. There's career like they do this as a hopeful career, and they put a lot of like time and effort, and like there's editing and like scripting and all that they do for this type of stuff. And then you get certain people that don't know what they're doing, and they become super famous, and then a bunch of people leave them, but they stay famous anyway. Yes, that was a slight nostalgia critic dig, by the way, just so you know. Uh, Death Wish 3. Death Wish 3 is so over the top. Death Wish 5 is like a little painful, but but I really like it. I wish I knew that was Warlock, because there's a couple that I know. I mean, I've seen so many people that have had such good channels. I mean, like there's one that used to do unboxings on a regular basis, like when I first started on YouTube, and man, he was so good. But he ended up like quitting like YouTube to going into the written aspect of it, to doing like written reviews and that. Um, I'll be honest with you, it takes a special like personality type to say, okay, I'm going to go in front of a camera, and I'm going to take the eventual harassment and whatever that's going to come your way when you do something like this. Can I be honest with you, Cool Blue? I haven't really watched it all. I I'm I think I'm gonna like it. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be the same thing. It's not Charles Bronson, and I didn't like making him a doctor and that type of thing. It seemed like they were trying to explain too much. Like I saw the first bit of it, and it was at a time I was tired, so it's not. Um, it's not that was not the fault of the movie. It was the fault. It was I was really tired. So it just seemed like everything like with a lot of remakes that they try to explain stuff. And like in Death Wish, um, Bronson's like he's an architect, and his family, his they get his wife is killed, his daughter is assaulted. She ends up in an asylum, um, and he goes out and he loses it. He kills people, but you know who he doesn't kill? The people that got his family. He never gets like you go back and watch Death Wish again. He he doesn't get revenge on the people that killed on the people that raped and killed his wife. He doesn't get revenge on those people. He gets bad guys, but he doesn't get them. Uh, and that's that's because Death Wish was based off of like something that actually happened around the time when I was younger. Uh, oh, I still get the blue. I still get like the oh don't you get me wrong. I'm still gonna have the Bruce Willis Death Wish. That's without a doubt. I would love to have all the original Death Wish on 4K. That'd be freaking sweet, man. Um, Jeff Goldblum's first film, yeah, and just incredible. Death 1000. I would. Oh man, you have no idea, Warlock. I'm such a huge Charles Bronson fan. I'm a Chuck Norris fan too. Like the guy in real life, he's a bit on the wacky side, but like his movies are are fantastically fun. But from the '80s, we watched I don't know, Silent Rage, Good Guys Wear Black. Some of that stuff. I like that stuff. I grew up '70s and '80s were kind of like my time for film, and I didn't appreciate the '90s films when they were around. I was still pretty much the grouchy guy, oh, these '90s films aren't as good type thing. But I grew, and I have over the years saw what some great stuff that came out in the '90s. Invasion USA is amazing. I love Invasion USA. And the prequel with Michael Dudikoff. Well, I'm not sure if it's a prequel or sequel, but Michael Dudikoff plays the same character in I think it's Avenging Force, right? Because that was originally supposed to be Chuck Norris, but he didn't come back, so they got Michael Dudikoff to do the role. And I liked a lot of the early stuff, like John Claude Van Damme stuff, and the early Steven Seagal stuff, that he did, like Mark for Death and the one with William Forsythe. Excellent stuff. Seagal was never a good actor, but when he had good directors behind him, like in Under Siege, for instance, that could stand up to him, it did well because it was casted well. The directors would stand up to him. It wouldn't be all about him. But then afterwards, for Justice, right? Perfect. That is right there. But you'll see what happened with Seagal, for instance, is he got too much control over his films, and it was not a good thing. And you got to see them go down really, really bad. William Forsythe is just one of those amazing character actors. He's great in everything I've seen him, and he was in a Relentless film too. Relentless was a series of films with Robert Davies on at least one of them, I think. But Leo Rossi, Leo Rossi is in the Relentless films. If you've never seen them, they're actually kind of cool, kind of straight to video thrillers. I think the first one might have been in the theater. I'm not quite sure, but I know the other ones weren't. But the first one had Judd Nelson as the killer. It was like this guy that wanted to be a cop, but he failed. He failed the psychiatric evaluation to be a police officer, and he was a killer that was going around kind of pretending to be a police officer. So there's a series of these films. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that one, Luke. That's definitely true. It's a shame, and people wonder could he ever come back and make movies like he did before? If he wasn't in control of them, and no kid, he kicked my ass anyway. So even today, but get in better shape, get good writers. I think maybe. Oh, he is banned from SNL. He's one of the people that got banned from SNL. He's never going on that. Unless something like a miracle happens, he's never going back on that show. He was horrible on that. And you're right. I read up on that. He was horrible behind the scenes as well. And it was painful to watch this stuff on that. That episode is check it out sometime, guys. If you wanna get some deep pain, check out Steven Seagal's SNL. Jet Li's suffering? I haven't heard a lot about Jet Li in a while. But I used to really like Jet Li, actually. I kind of wonder what happened to him. Because I don't keep up with some of these. Hey, 13 Wolfman, welcome, dude. Seagal is. I'm going to go with Seagal. Because Seagal, there's the Russia-Putin connection, which is very disturbing. Oh man, that's horrible. Actually I didn't know that at all, Warlock. To be totally honest with you, this is the first time that I found out about that. Hey, hey, just hanging right now. Actually, aged prematurely due to an illness. My God, I didn't know that. Hopefully he gets like a lot better. I don't know if he's a Russian spy or he just is like into, sometimes people just get into like that type of thing. Lee Marvin, lovely Marvin. Lee Marvin, I love the leads. Lee Marvin, Lee Van Cleef, two actors that I really like. But that happened to a lot of them. I mean, like it's definitely not just Seagal who had like whose early films had mob connections, but his mob connection films are his best films. Seagal's his own worst enemy. When when it gets to their head, like oh, I know you think you know what's right, but hey, director, hey, writer, you know, I'm Steven Seagal. That's not how I do it. Yeah, but there's the thing. He's still making films, and they suck now. Uh, and there's a reason for that because because the second Steven Seagal got any bit of like control, let me remind you that Steven Seagal made an ecologically friendly film uh, where his character's answer to fight Michael Caine was to, hey, what you're this is not eco-friendly. Here, let me blow up this tanker, this oil thing. Oh yeah, it was painful, man. It was painful, painful to watch. I watched the movie just for my cocaine alone, but you could see it was going down. Bruce, somebody mentioned Bruce Lee earlier. Again, unfortunately, didn't get to do enough. There was a couple that like did okay after that. I mean, like, but it's kind of in between. 70s cop films, Serpico, French Connection, Papa Doyle, amazing character. Seven Ups, Godfather. Seven Ups, William Smith, right? No, it's not Seven. No, Seven is William Smith. Sorry. 70s was a really great time for like for the kind of the grittier like style, like the kind of cop films that they did, that were definitely a product of their time. The 80s was like all out action type stuff. Dirty Harry was one of those ones that would cross over from the 70s to the 80s. The original Dirty Harry with Andrew Robinson, amazing. I'll be honest with you, Untouchables again, Brian De Palma, fantastic film, the 80s, incredible. If I'm not sure if anybody remembers this one, but Jamie Lee Curtis did this movie called Blue Steel, which was actually really good as well. The Gauntlet, again, is another one I love. Like Clint Eastwood did a lot of really good stuff. Years before he was like arguing with a chair, Clint Eastwood did some really amazing stuff. I love the Italian stuff. Get some Ray Lovelock in there, man. I'm there. Like Blue Steel's really good. Ron Silver, yeah, it was like he picks up her gun, right? That's the one. That's where because she's a cop and he picks up her gun. Falachi Papers, Gator White Lighting. Oh yeah, classic Burt Reynolds. I'm a huge Burt Reynolds fan, especially early stuff. I had the biggest crush on I like a lot of guys. I had the biggest crush on Jamie Lee Curtis, and there's a reason they chose. Like when they said, "Hey, we're doing this like movie based on a Rolling Stone article, and we're going to get like John Travolta, and it's called Perfect, and it's going to have the lead female is going to be Jamie Lee Curtis," and you look at the poster, and 10 seconds in, you're like, "Yeah, perfect." Brandon would have been huge, and he put so much of himself into the. Oh, Jennifer Connelly, me too. I mean, 7 Minutes in Heaven, man. Remember that? Like that was like, that was one of her first, I think. You never had a crush on Jamie Lee Curtis, man. Go back and watch like Perfect. Go back much perfect. Um, but Jennifer Connelly was a big one for me. Asia Argento, uh, still to this very day. Asia is like, uh, me and my better half got this list. Okay, these are like this, like every couple has this imaginary list. If we met this star, like we get a pass type of thing, right? I think Asia is on that list. Oh, I know the scene. That every red-blooded male knows that scene. You get, we did like a topic here, like kind of a debate on like who is better, Schwarzenegger or Stallone, like who did better the action films, and Schwarzenegger definitely won it for what he can do. He just had just what a breadth of '80s action films that he did, like going into '90s, and that Schwarzenegger's better at reinventing himself and doing like more of a like could get comedic. Stallone is not a comedic actor, so there was that as well. That's why when you get stuff like Cobra, for instance, which is a really fun film, um, you it's just missing something. Exactly right, Carlos. Uh, and that thing, Leah Thompson, Howard the Duck. Uh, Stallone's characters always seem to be taking themselves super seriously, and that works like some of the time. But in like for a lot of '80s action films, for instance, oh, we made worse movies than Last Action Hero. And actually, I like Last Action Hero. I think it's kind of underrated because it really is kind of like a parody of like action films, and it gets a lot of that like fairly right. But like yeah, so in our discussion, like Commando, like when it said like who's the better action hero, Sylvester Stallone or 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 Arnold Schwarzenegger, then my response was Commando. Uh, right there, Schwarzenegger wins it with one film. But there's a whole lot of other films. Cobra's good, but Cobra could have been better. Uh, like what my some of my favorite like Stallone stuff is like I like some of his early stuff. Um, when he's like got some really great ones. You got to, man. Like give it another shot. Give Last Action Hero another shot. Just go in like I felt the same way the first time I saw Last Action Hero. But it's a movie that grows on you, especially when you really kind of like get into the vibe of exactly what it's trying to do. In my opinion, I think it does. You might get like still totally hate it, but I did find that it did. It was one that did grow on me a bit. It's a great line, fantastic line. Almost seems like something like a dirty hairline, doesn't it? Like we'll do like if you guys, I did like a live stream with Jace, as from Australia. Here, great guy by the way, really smart. On James Bond, and we'll doing one on westerns as well. I keep saying we're going to do it, and I got to do it soon. He's gonna think I forgot him, and I totally didn't. Uh, it's just things have been crazy. Speaking of which, yes, there's Bond news. I guess I should mention that. All right, so the new Bond movie's coming out, and some people got up in arms because 007 is, well, it's the girl from Captain Marvel. Not Brie Larson. Well, not a female Bond. Bond is still Daniel Craig. Uh, Bond's a character. uh, 007 is a designation. It's just a number. Um, so people are like, how can this girl be 007? How can this happen? Well, apparently everybody that got a bit up in arms never saw Spectre. Yeah, like they obviously they didn't see Spectre, because if they did, they'd know that at the end of Spectre, he quits. He quits being an agent. He finds the girl that he wants to be with. He refuses to kill Blofeld. He doesn't do his 007 designation. He retires. He quits. Basically, he retires. So what happens when you retire? It's not. This isn't football. Your number isn't like hung up. Hey, Nicole and Kyle, welcome, dude. You like somebody else gets that designation. So in the movie, at least at the beginning of the movie, uh, they shouldn't have leaked it. It would have been something great, like to just put in there, like to just shock people with. There's a girl, I think Lashana Lynch, something like that. Her name is, and she's the new 007. Like obviously she's not the new James Bond. She's not James Bond. She just has that number. Now they could be setting her up for like a series like films, like doing, and they could be doing like a whole like, hey, 007 is a number, we can put other people in there, and they can do other James Bond films as well. Like they could recast James Bond, they could reboot James Bond a bit. But she's not Bond. This is the thing people aren't getting. It is genius. That's what's genius about it. Now think about this. Bond is going. Like Daniel Craig isn't coming back for another film. Eventually, somebody else is going to play that role. But one of the genius things that they can do, and this may peeve some people off, but I'm a guy that grew up with the books and stuff like that. And and if it doesn't bother me, and I'm a diehard Bond fan, then I'm gonna be honest. This is bothering you for the wrong reason. I'm gonna say that right now. They can use the designation. Well, to do Bond, to do not Bond, but to still do 007 spy films. And it doesn't always have to be her. Like, as long as Bond is 007, like you can still make Bond films. But as long as Bond is 007, you know what the formula is. You know where it's going to go. When you slot somebody else into the 007 designation, somebody new, you don't know that if that person, is going to make it to the end of that film. Yeah, she could be in the movie for 5 minutes. She could do 2 or 3 007 movies, and we could still be having Bond movies. Then we're getting double of it. Or basically, they can take their time and recast Bond, and while they do a couple 007 movies, they could keep her in it. They could kill her off, have somebody else take up over the 007 number. There's a lot of ways to go with it. It's probably one of the most genius things that they could have done, because now, and they probably won't do it. This is what I would do. Personally, this is what I would personally do. I would definitely do Bond films, but I would use the 007 number. I would use it. And I would put people in that. I would have other 007s. I would show that. Well, that would be called Live and Let Die. Well, it said that she's the new 007, which is true. It's true. I'm like, sure, it's a bit of a clickbaity title. And to be honest, like, in all honesty, uh, what what's wrong with if she's in a couple films? Because they're spy action films. It's not like they're coming out and saying, oh look, it's Jane Bond. It's not. It's using the number. And I like you, Mike. I really do. Yeah, and anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I really think that the take your time. If like, don't rush to cast Bond. If you don't have anybody like thought up right now, I know Idris Elba was a thought, but he doesn't want to do it. That's what it came down to, is he didn't want to do it. He's been kind of burnt. I don't think that she's going to be like 007 going through. I wish, because I do like the actress, and I do think she could do it. And as long as she's trained for the physicality part of it, then that's great. I think you remember Atomic Blonde. Some people didn't like that. I really like that. The thought that they can use a 00 designation and do other films with other actors and actresses. Dude, that's tempting. It's so tempting. There's always going to be a mindset of people that are going to say, what, 007 always has to be a male, and that's stupid. Like, I'm not, there's no two ways around that. That's kind of dumb. We've already seen lots of female agents. Yeah, exactly. Although I didn't like Salt very much, to be honest with you. I wasn't a big fan of that film, Warlock. Maybe I got to watch it again, but we went to see another movie. It was all sold out, so we went and saw Salt, and I was like, it's okay. But no, it'll be interesting. And I'm sure we'll get lots of James Bond movies too. And maybe this is a way to like to do like a bit of that. There's a cool character. Oh my God, I so want to see more of her character. With that fight sequence in John Wick with those dogs. Oh man. See, I'd have to go back and see it again. Like, you have to understand, Warlock. When I went and saw it, I went in to watch another movie too. So I was already going in disappointed that I wasn't going to see the movie that I wanted to see. So for me to say, oh, I don't like Salt, yeah, I haven't seen it since. So I may actually really like it now. Wasn't Henry Czerny in that? He's a Newfoundland actor. I think he was in that. Yeah, because Haley Berry got screwed out of her Jinx character. Because that James Bond movie got, like, although it did really well at the box office, didn't do well critically, or with a lot of the viewers. Die Another Day, yeah, didn't do well. She did what she had to do, man. She looked great as Catwoman. The script's horrible, but she looked fantastic. But yeah, I thought the Jinx character was going to have her own films. Nope. Didn't happen, which is a shame, because she was at her prime, and she's gotten, if anything, this new John Wick movie's showing just so good she's gotten. It's incredible. And the fact that we could have some 007 movies with the female lead, I'm not gonna lie, that's yeah, that's nice she's cute too, so that helps. Of course, she's the pilot in Captain Marvel, if you've seen that film. She's been in other films, but that's what I know her from. Like, that's the main one. I want to see more John Wick, and I hope they expand that universe as well. But keep doing it well. Like, keep doing with that quality of action sequences, and like, they do great action choreography in the John Wick films. Just incredible stuff that blows my mind. But anyway, guys, 123 minutes. We've talked about everything tonight, and I still have Doctor Who to watch. So, with that being said, I'm Aaron. This is my movie library. Maybe the next video I'll be in the secret room. I like them all. It's 4 solid releases. That's what I'll say. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to get right away, but there's going to be 4 solid releases. But right now, guys, I got to do some time traveling. You guys are the movie club. You guys are fantastic. As always, you guys rock. You made this video awesome. And you made my night way, way happier. So, it's time for me to dematerialize. It's time for tea. Have a great evening, guys.